Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me today for another tutorial. I am Nick, the Bearded Housewife. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry for my voice. My kids have given me a little bit of a head cold, so we're just going to try to get through this. I'm sorry about the raspy voice. But today I wanted to show you a really fun diorama card. This is my fall diorama card. Isn't it cute with the little shadow box effect? I just love that it can fold flat, so you can either mail it in a 6x6 envelope that is included, or you can put it in one of my envelope boxes. There's a space on the back for you to write your message, and it stands up all by itself on a tabletop. So cute. So before I start to show you how to make this card, I want to show you the paper and actually the inspiration for this card. This is the cardstock that I used. This is the American Crafts cardstock, the Autumn cardstock pack. Now, I love this scene. I fell in love with it when I bought it from Amazon. I bought the paper before I knew what I was going to do for this diorama card. And when I saw it, I just fell in love with it. So I went to my vector design program, and using that as a guide, I started drawing out my own take on it. And it turned out really, really cool. So this became the card that I'm going to show you how to make. A little bit of changes. I've added a few things here and there to it. So let me show you how to go ahead and start making it. So first, we're going to get the free file from my blog, thebeardedhousewife.com. We're going to head to the Resource Library tab. If you don't have access to my free file library, you can click Get Access. You'll fill out a form, and then you'll be emailed the password to get into the free files. But for now, we're going to click Enter the Library. We're going to enter the password and hit Enter, and then you're brought to all the goodies. You're going to want to find number 92, which is the Fall Diorama card. Click that hyperlink and download it to your computer. Unzip the file, and then open up the SVG in a brand new project in Design Space, and we can head over there right now to start to make the adjustments that we need to do. So here we are in a new project. I'm going to go ahead to upload image, browse, and then find where I downloaded the file onto the computer and click open, and then click upload. You're going to want to highlight that image and then click Add to Canvas. Now it's brought it into our canvas. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Head on up to Ungroup the Design, and you're going to want to scroll down. There are a lot of little pieces to this, but it is so worth it in the end. So you're going to want to scroll down the Layers panel to find the card base. There we go. Highlight the score line, go up to Operation and change that from Basic Cut to Score. Then highlight that group and then click Attach. Now we need to find the sentiment layer. I designed this to be drawn out on your Cricut. So we need to find that text layer, highlight the text, go over to Operation and change that from Basic Cut to Pen. Then highlight that group and click Attach. And that's it. We can head on up to make it. Click Continue after you look at all the 19 mats. Yes, I know, there are little pieces, don't worry about it. Choose your material, and now we are ready to cut. For this project, you're going to need a Cricut light grip or standard grip cutting mat, your cardstock, scoring wheel or scoring stylus, pen, Cricut scraper, Cricut brayer, and your glue or your adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and get everything cut out. There are a lot of little pieces here, so I'm not going to show you the entire process of me cutting it out because it would be too long and probably kind of boring. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything cut out, and I will see you when it's all done. Okay, now that everything's all cut out, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling. First, you wanna take your card base and you're gonna fold along the score lines. Now to start off, you're gonna wanna start by folding the first tab away from you. Give it a good press. Then the second score line towards you. What you're doing is you're creating like an accordion. Give the whole stack a nice press with the scraper to burnish everything. And do you see what you end up with? You have the 3 mountain folds and then the 3 valley folds there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. All right, there we go. Gonna open these up just a little bit. Okay, so like I said, there's the 3 mountain folds and the 3 valley folds. You should have them on both sides. Again, the 3 mountain folds and the 3 valley folds. Those valley folds are gonna be what we adhere everything to. So now we're gonna start layering our grass, and we layer them from the back to the front, the largest to the smallest, and you're going to place them on the tabs on both sides. You're going to want to make sure that you line up the bottom. This is the second grass layer, and that goes on the second tab. Again, you're going to want to line up the bottom. Then our frame goes on top, and it rests on the last of those 3 valley folds. And then our sentiment layer is our last piece of grass, and that goes on top of the frame, again, lining up all the edges. So before I glue those down, I'm going to glue down the sky layer onto the back of the card base. There's going to be just a slight white border around this square. That's to give room for the score lines. Always do check those folds though, just to make sure that everything folds the way that it's supposed to. Give it a good press. Alright, and now I'm going to take all those grass layers and the frame, and I'm just going to glue them down. I'm adding glue to the sides and then attaching them in. Now for the sentiment layer in the frame, I wanted to show you, you glued them just a little bit differently than you would think. Now for the sentiment layer, you're going to add glue to the sides and then to the bottom. Go ahead and place that on top of the frame. Now we can flip the frame over, and you're going to add glue only to the left and right sides. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and get that glued down and attached to the last of the tabs, just making sure that I line up all the edges. All right, there we go. Our grass layer and our frame is ready to go. Now we're going to take our little bridge piece, that's this little white rectangle, and place that on the back tab. So the closest tab to the back. You're going to want to make sure that it lines up with the top. Go ahead and add glue to the sides. You really could put this on either of the inside tabs, it really doesn't matter. I just prefer to use it on the back tab. So go ahead and slip that in, lining everything up. And then I just give it a little bit of a pinch just to hold the glue together. And then go ahead and do the other side. Okay, now we can start layering all of our different embellishments. I'm going to start off by doing the trees and the foliage. So let me get that out of my little pile here. There's lots of little leaves. I gave you lots of little things to decorate with. So we're going to add glue to the tree trunks and then place that on the foliage for both trees. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and layer the schoolhouse, and that actually it's the black layer, then the red layer, and then the cream roof layer is how you layer it. Okay, now that that's all done, we can go ahead and start layering our pumpkins. And to do that, you're going to take all of the orange layers, add glue down the middle of all of them, and then place the yellow ovals over the glue. And then once we're done with that, we can add a little dab of glue and put the stems on the pumpkins. Okay, now I'm going to take our card and I'm going to line up all of the different pathways. I'm going to show you how those are supposed to line up, and then I'm going to go ahead and speed it up while I'm gluing it together. So the very back grass layer gets the little curvy side, and then the next larger size, and then the largest of the path goes on the sentiment layer. Just like that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and glue those together real quick. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take the schoolhouse. I'm going to run a little bit of glue right on the horizon of that grass layer. And then place the schoolhouse right on top. I'm trying to center the pathway with the door. That looks good. Now I'm going to take the smallest of the trees. I'm going to check my placement here. Okay, and now I'm going to add glue to the front bottom portion of the tree. It's the part that's the largest of that tree trunk. That's to add stability once everything stands up. Find where I want to place it, and then I'm just going to press down on that second grass layer. There we go. That looks good. Now I'm going to take the larger tree. Again, I just want to check my placement here. Okay. And now this is going to get attached to the bridge layer. The top of the foliage is flat, and that is to line up with the top of that bridge. So you're going to want to add glue to the back there at the top, and then add glue to the bottom of the tree trunk like we did for the small tree. That's so that you can attach it to the second grass layer on the back, and then attach it to the top, to the front of the bridge layer. I'm just going to push down just to make sure that everything adheres the way that I want it to. And there we go. Okay, now we can start to add our fencing. The larger fence piece goes in front of the large tree. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And then the smaller of the fence pieces goes on the sentiment layer to the right of the pathway. All right. Now we can add 3 little glue dots onto the sky layer, and then I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to grab the clouds and start to place those on the skyline. Perfect. And now we can start to add our pumpkins. There's no rhyme or reason to where these need to go. You can just put them wherever you want. I'm going to put 3 along the larger fence post or fence piece, and then 2 in front of the smaller fence. I love how it's coming together. Now, all that's left to do is add all of your leaves. I gave you plenty so that you can add little dots of glue wherever you want to put a leaf. Use the tweezers and put them all over the larger tree, as well as to have them sprinkled down onto the fencing, onto the ground, around the pumpkins. I put a few around the sentiment. It really is totally up to you, but you know how fall has all of those wonderful leaves, which is part of the reason why we have head colds right now. But I think the messier, the better. All right, that is it. Isn't that just adorable? I love how there's so much dimension to it when it's such a thin card. Thin meaning not very deep. It's just so neat. I love it. And I just love that scene. And again, you can fold it up. You can put your sentiment there on the back. And it stands up. Perfect. How easy. Now, this can be used with the envelope that is included in the download, or you can put it in one of my envelope boxes, which I will link below in the description. I hope that you guys like this. If you did, make sure that you hit like and subscribe so you know every time that I come out with a new video. Head on over to my blog, thebeardedhousewife.com, for lots of other card tutorials. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I hope that you make it and you share it with me once you do. I will see everyone later, and I'm wishing you a very happy autumn. Bye.